Today is the first day in a long time in the state of Ohio that it's been decent temperature and it hasn't rained. It's like 65 degrees here in February, which is unseasonable. So I'm in the car right now, letting it warm up. It's idling like crap, but it turned on, so that's a good sign. I was trying to drive it on the last nice day and started to back out of the driveway and realized I really didn't have any kind of a brake pedal. And when I hit the brake pedal, light indicator comes on the dash, red light where it says brakes. I'll show you that. So right in there, when I apply the brakes, it comes on. That tells me there's not enough brake pressure in the system and I can't build it. I'm pumping and it's pretty much just going right to the floor. I mean, not quite to the floor. There's a little bit of braking power, but not nearly enough for me to feel comfortable driving this thing any kind of distance. So I'm going to go ahead and try to bleed these brakes. So I made my little bottle here with my brake fluid in it, try to bleed these brakes out. Got my set of line wrenches from good old Harbor Freight, and within the first 20 seconds, snapped off the bleeder valve. Nothing's ever easy. So now what we got to do is replace our wheel cylinder here. I mean, judging by the looks of it and everything, it probably needed to be replaced anyways, so this isn't going to be a bad thing. But now I got to strip off all these brake parts to get to it. There's lots of good videos out there if you want to check those out on how to tear this sucker down. Best thing you can do is take a picture of it first and then go ahead and start getting after it. So I've already loosened the two bolts. There's two bolts on this side here, the back side of the plate that hold this in place. Those have been loosened up. I loosened up the brake line itself, so that's a good start. It moved. So again, my line wrenches came in handy for that. And now I just got to remove this stuff here. I'm going to try to remove as little as possible, whatever is minimal, to get to this guy and pull it off. But you can see it's got these clips that go around the brake shoe, so it's probably going to be more work than I want it to be, but it is what it is. We got to get it done, and then we can get back on the road. All right, so that came off a little bit easier than expected. Nothing ever works out, so look at that. One thing did. As you can see here, I need to stop that line from leaking or just put something under it, because I don't care if that brake fluid leaks out. I just don't want it to destroy anything on its way. Anyhow, what I did was I pulled off the springs that connect here, and then I was able to pull the brake shoe out a little bit and shove it over, and that gave me enough room to get this guy out. And I've got the piece for the other end here, but yeah, two bolts, and then took the brake line out the rest of the way, and here we are. So that wasn't horrible, but as you can see, this thing is an old crusty POS, so probably time for it to get replaced regardless. So you can see there was a little bit of fluid in here. Not sure if that's totally normal. I've seen some videos that say it's normal to have a little bit, but not a lot, so I'm not sure. But anyway, we're getting a new one anyways, because you can see right there, there's our bleeder valve that went ahead and broke off for us instantly. So yeah, when the new ones come in, they'll get put on. So of course, the first thing I checked when I saw that light come on was the master cylinder. And the master cylinder was down quite a bit in the rear portion, which is actually the front of the master cylinder on this car. That reservoir was completely dry. So there were a couple little drops in there. I poured some more brake fluid in, and bubbles started coming up, and I was like, all right, here we go. I definitely have to bleed these brakes out now. after looking at this, you can see all this crap built up. The passenger side is not like this. That tells me that there is a brake fluid leak in here, probably coming from right in here, that has just coated everything in here in crap. So this thing is in bad shape. These brake shoes are rough. I don't know if I can find new brake shoes, though. I looked for brake shoes last year. This spring broke in half and was hanging out down here, grinding into stuff, and got rid of it and put a new one on, but just to get me by. But I think this is going to need a whole new set of brake shoes and need to be cleaned up because this is freaking disgusting. Yay, more issues. All right, so here goes the driver's side. If you don't have one of these little tools for doing these drum brakes, I highly recommend them. It's better than using screwdrivers and pliers and crap. Here we go. Gets right underneath that. Boom. One spring down. This one's a little more of a challenge. By the way, I've got no idea if I'm even using the damn thing right. I just know that it works if you do it like that. So, all right. So the same thing I did before was I pulled this. Yep, there goes your spring. Pull this guy out. There we go. That gives some more space. There's that. Okay, that's all I need to do so far on that. Now let's see if we can get this wheel cylinder off there, as well as the brake line without making things worse. All right, brake line first. The other one was a 10mm for some reason. These lines must have been replaced at some point, so we'll follow this up. Lefty loosey. Okay, so it's sticking pretty good. Trying to be careful. I don't want to have to replace that line, even though it's only a couple feet long. Try to take this as easy as possible. My hands are going to get in the way here. It's a bleeder. So we're on there. I nailed this with PB Blaster yesterday, by the way. So, okay. So it's moving. Line's moving too. Oh, hello. Okay. Still moving. Again, this line wrench set came from, or line wrench, or whatever you want to call it. Different names, different folks. Came from Harbor Freight. I got 30% off coupon. It was like $12. So, not bad. Okay, this is moving more freely now. Hopefully that's a good thing. Not always a good thing. Give me my wrench back. All right. Not a good thing. Broke the freaking line. Just keeps getting better. Awesome. All right, now this whole line's got to be replaced. So let's see if we can get this off the distribution block here without jacking anything else up. I have low expectations for the success rate. And that is not a 10 millimeter on this side. Probably not a 12 millimeter either, because that'd be too easy. Nope. Perfect. Some random size for this side. I guess it's just my lucky day. That is a 10 millimeter. It just was covered in crap. Alright, the old brake line's off. Now let's see if we can get this wheel cylinder to come off. Shockingly loose bolts here. That's I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The new wheel cylinders are supposed to come with these bolts, at least the ones I ordered. Not all of them do. I'm hanging on to them just in case, because I have trust issues. Alright, it's loosened. Let's see if we can get this out of here. Well, that it's disassembling itself. Something tells me that's where the leak was coming from, as it was ready to pop off there instantly. Here's all your little components. These can be rebuilt, by the way, if you were so inclined. I am not so inclined. There we go. That's our culprit. And now we're out. There it is. Pull this guy out. And it's pretty well dry. Pull this boot off. It's just caked full of crap. You can't see it, but it's time. It's been time for these guys to get replaced. Here we go. That's what it looks like. So if you were so inclined, you can get a hone, which I actually have a hone for these. You can hone that out, clears up the cylinder walls, and then clean these guys up. And there's a rebuild kit for these that, these might come with a rebuild kit. I know it comes with new boots. It comes with a new spring. Comes with new cups. These guys here that go on the end of the piston. So you got options if you want to rebuild one, but for the, I think $8 a piece that I paid for these, wasn't worth it. It's kind of amazing what a little bit of brushing with a wire brush and a crap ton of brake cleaner will do for you. Already looking a lot better here. I just recommend, if you do this yourself, move your freaking ratchet before you start and get it covered in crap. It's always something. Now, it's important to have a clean workspace. You can see I got a very clean workspace here to work with. Makes my life a lot easier. What I'm going to do is, this is that line that came off. Here's where it snapped, down here on this end. I'm going to try to go to the parts store and see if I can measure this cable out before I go, and then just buy a new section of cable. And I've got a tubing bender, bend it back into that same shape. It's kind of nice it came out one chunk like this, so I can just follow that same pattern and hopefully not jack it up too bad. Here's my brake drum that I pulled off. In case you're wondering, because I always ask this question myself about 10 times every time I do one of these, is you're measuring from the inside of this lip to the inside of this lip over here. This one's 10 inches across. These old Mopars, it's 9 or 10 inches, it seems like. Maybe some of them 11, but just stuck a tape measure down in there, ran it from one side to the other, and got 10 inches. So those are the brake wheel cylinders that go with this system. So make sure it lines up with the right numbers and you get the right stuff. Otherwise. All right, so I just went to I forget the name of it, but some auto parts place near me. And got myself a new line. It is the same size, 3/16 line. There's a part number and such, if you need it. So I measured out this line here, and it came out to roughly 18 inches, you know, just going from end to end here and end to end over on this side. So I added 2 inches to that to account for some of these bends, and came out with about 20 inches. So I'm sure I'll be off by 3 inches here. One of the weird things, and I asked them why this was at O'Reilly, and maybe somebody can tell me, but why in the world are these fittings 2 different sizes? All right, so you got this one short, this one is long. I assume that's has something to do with which end they go on, but I'm not totally certain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this side, the longer end, I'm going to take to the wheel cylinder, and the shorter end I'm going to take to the distribution block, because this end came from the distribution block and it's short. So makes sense to me. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be wrong. But got my handy dandy old tubing bender here. Try to bend this thing up and get it as close as we can to what we started with. Wish me luck. So one issue I've run into in here is the new hardware for the self-adjuster is shorter than the original by, I don't know, about an inch, just enough to make it impossible to put that thing on. So don't throw away your old stuff before you check it out, and make sure that you don't need it. I've done that before, and it's a huge mistake. So in this case, it saved me. So maybe it's this kit specifically, but that's just a good rule of thumb, I guess. All right, I finally got both sides put back together. This is always a lot of fun, especially when you're in tight spaces. So these actually come with 2 different sets of pins that run through your brake shoe. One's slightly longer. That one that's slightly longer will push it out about 1/4 of an inch, and you'll end up hitting your brake drum. So make sure you choose the right length. And then we've got new wheel cylinder here, lines hooked up. Now we just gotta figure out how to bleed these things, and hopefully it'll work. So like any real genius, I've bought like 6 different sizes of plastic tubing to try to do this whole bottle trick, I guess you could call it, and couldn't find anything that fits these very small bleeders. This one fits the old bleeders. It does not fit the new bleeders on the new wheel cylinders. So I have an auction place near me, and I found this tubing off of a oxygen mask, and it fits perfectly, and it cost me $1. So hey, gotta be resourceful, right, when you're poor. There it is. Here I am now taking a test drive, and it's an old country road here, and this is wonderful. I actually have a brake pedal now for the first time since I've owned this car. It feels good. There's no pumping. There's just, you know, 1 foot on the brake, and it starts to slow down immediately. There's brake pressure instantly. That's a wonderful feeling. Hit the brakes, hitting them right now, slowing down here. There is no brake light coming on. Woo! I mean, other than the ones on the back of the car, but no light indicating that there's unequal brake pressure being applied. So that's a wonderful feeling.